Since losing the referendum on independence, membership of the SNP has jumped to more than 80,000. This week, 2 polls showed Labour in Scotland crashing and the SNP far ahead. It could have a dramatic impact, as I was saying, on the outcome of next year's general election and Labour's hopes of forming a majority government. Speaking of your successor, she's also suggested that in the event, quite likely possibly, of a UK-wide referendum on leaving the EU or not, that Scotland should have a veto. Do you agree with her about that?
I thought that was a very strong initiative from Nicola. If you wanted to do something as fundamentally damaging as pulling this country out of the European Union, damaging to jobs, investors, damaging in so many ways, if you want to do that, then at least you should have go to the bother of having the assent of each of the equal partners within the United Kingdom. I thought it was a very strong initiative, and I think the unionist parties are having difficulty coming to terms with it.
It would certainly produce a huge political crisis if the UK overall, but mainly England, voted to leave the EU, and then Scotland said, no, you can't. I mean, that would be a kind of union-breaking moment.
What would provoke a constitutional issue, a huge constitutional issue, if there is a systematic attempt by the leaders of the Westminster parties, the Three Amigos, to disavow the vow, then that is constitutionally can provoke a crisis. And other circumstances which are quite right to point to, if the Conservatives are returned, if they go ahead under UKIP direction with a referendum on the European Union, and Scotland were in a position of being dragged out of Europe against the wishes of the Scottish people, that is again an area of substantial constitutional crisis. But these are not, if I may say so, crises being imposed by people in Scotland. These are circumstances that would come about if Westminster politicians wanted to break their commitment, or for that example, were doing something as foolish as trying to drag this country out of Europe against the wishes of the Scottish nation.